Many years ago, on a remote farm, lived a young girl with her parents. She was very attractive, slim, with long black hair, pale porcelain skin, and stunning big dark eyes with long eyelashes. Young men came to her from all corners of the state just to invite her on a date. However, the problem was that none of these handsome guys lasted more than one date with her. All of them were later seen panicking, running away from her house and screaming in horror. None of them later shared what had happened to them during the date with this mysterious beauty, and no one dared to approach her a second time. As a result, soon the young people stopped coming to her with flowers and invitations, and her parents began to worry greatly and despair that their beloved daughter would never get married. People started whispering that there was clearly something wrong with this irresistible girl. Apparently, she had some terrifying invisible flaw that scared off all potential suitors. Her puzzled parents couldn't understand why so many young and strong boys were running away from their sweet, modest daughter in horror after dates with her. And one day, the girl's father saw through the window another tall young man walking along the path in their garden with a bouquet of bright summer flowers. "What do you want here, young man?" the old man sternly asked, stepping onto the porch. "Good day, sir. I would like to invite your charming daughter on a date, if you don't mind," the young man politely said. The girl's father immediately brightened up and was delighted with such an opportunity. He invited the young man into the house so that he could personally invite his daughter. When the young man saw the beauty, he immediately admired her exquisite beauty and confidently invited her to take a stroll with him through the evening forest and enjoy the sunset. The girl shyly agreed and walked him to the door, making plans for the time of their date. "Wait, not so fast," she whispered to him as he was about to leave, right at the door. "Come for me at midnight and be very careful. Don't make noise and move quietly like a shadow so as not to accidentally wake up my parents. Their sleep is very sensitive." The young man nodded with a serious expression and winked at her in understanding as they said goodbye. At midnight, he stealthily sneaked into the garden of her house and lightly tapped her window with a pebble. She immediately opened the window from the inside and skillfully descended to the street. "Before I agree to go on our romantic date, you must promise me something," she mysteriously said, looking directly into his eyes. The young man enthusiastically nodded, agreeing to any conditions for a date with her. "I want you to undergo a test of true love. If you truly love me, you will definitely pass this test. Promise that even if you can't complete it due to fear, you won't tell anyone about it afterwards." The young man solemnly promised to keep the test a secret. "Then follow me and don't be afraid of anything," the girl said decisively, and led him into the night. She quickly walked along a narrow, barely noticeable path, leading into the overgrown forest beyond the village. "Where are we going so late at night?" the young man curiously asked, trying not to fall behind. "It's a surprise you'll see soon," the beauty mysteriously replied, turning to him with a mischievous smile. It was a dark, moonless night, and pitch darkness enveloped the forest. They say that it's in such nights that ghosts wander and various horrifying things happen. Following the girl along the barely discernible path in the darkness, the young man began to hear strange and unsettling sounds of the nocturnal forest, the chirping of night birds, rustling in the bushes, the distant howls of wolves. But he walked boldly, excited by the adventure ahead. Finally, they reached an old cemetery, and the young man could make out an old tombstone covered with moss and overgrown with grass. The girl's nightshirt billowed in the wind. She stood on the edge of a grave that looked quite fresh. The young man watched as the girl took an old rusty shovel in her hand and began to dig, scattering the soil around her. Then she knelt down and started tearing the earth with her hands until she came across a coffin. How surprised he was when she lifted the lid and detached the arm of the corpse lying inside. Then she brought the arm to her mouth and bit off a small piece with her teeth. She chewed loudly, staring at him. "This is a test of love," If you love me, you'll do what I do. You'll eat what I eat." With these words, she tore off another arm and threw it to the young man. He didn't hesitate, took a big bite. Now, he was very surprised. He never thought human flesh could taste so good. Suddenly, he realized it was just a prank. The beautiful girl burst into laughter. "You know, you're the only one who didn't run away from me. I want to marry you. You're very brave." The young man didn't smile in response. He just stood in the dark, on the edge of the grave, looking at her. His eyes were filled with rage and anger. He said, "I thought you were just like me." This time, it was the girl who ran away screaming.